Ahoy, my friends. Ahoy. Welcome to the Gaming Galleon once again. Just taking a breath. I'm just taking a breath because it's that time of year that's just so magical. It's nearing Christmas time, and whether or not you celebrate Christmas, this should be a calming time for you because it's really the time of the winter that is worth its salt. Because, in just a few weeks, Christmas will be over, the New Year will be over, all these parties where we get together and enjoy ourselves and actually celebrate the cold weather, if you live out in Indianapolis in the Midwest, where the ship generally is throughout the week. It's a great time, but come January, that's when the last thing you want to do is see snow. So it's a magical time this month because everyone's trying to get along. No one's really sweating the weather. Everybody's busy running around doing stuff for other people. It's getting gifts and wrapping and baking cookies. It's a great time, and it's no different here on the Galleon. The boys have been outside basically decorating the deck and the mass. Luckily, it's not like we would keep our Christmas decorations in here in the captain's quarters. Most of it was below, in the storage areas of the ship itself. So all of our Christmas decos are still good. So the boys they're putting garland on all the rails of the deck, and putting some seasonal sails up that have things like toy soldiers and ornaments, silver and gold ornaments, and it's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the old song "I Saw Three Ships." You ever hear that song? I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. That's all I know, but it's always been one of my favorites because I can only imagine living in some forgotten port town in the 18th century where the most interesting thing is waking up and looking outside your window and seeing three massive ships coming into bay and wondering just who's on it and what they're bringing. Anyway, I've been in the spirit myself. I don't know that you can see them, but I put a couple lights up. Just a couple decos. You got the Jack Skeleton here in his traditional Santa Claus outfit, and just a couple of toys. But I waited for you guys to get the lights up. All right, wanted to do this together. So let's all head over to the plug here and put them on. All right, you ready to count to three on this? Let me get them in hand. All right, here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, for God's sakes. Come on. Wonderful. Christmas is ruined. No, I'm just kidding. We'll have to work on that. All right, anyway, let's get to our adventure today. We're sitting in a parking lot outside of a mysterious toy shop. And within this toy shop lives one of the greatest literary characters ever. It's the family of Goomba and their son, who's the star, known as Gumby. Have you ever heard of Gumby? Gumby's an old cartoon show. And it's not even cartoon, it's claymation. It was made by these two people named Art and Marcia Clokey. And they were doing Gumby through the 50s, 60s, even into the 70s. And they even made a movie in the 90s. Since then, Gumby's really kind of been nowhere, frankly. Aside from maybe a couple of DVD series, you don't hear about Gumby. And for me, that's a real shame because I've always loved the idea of Gumby's lifestyle. Basically, Gumby is like this little piece of clay. He has the ability to morph into anything he wants. But the best part is he lives in a giant man-sized, human-sized toy store. And he's obviously got to, be aware of the humans around, but there really aren't much. This is just kind of your mom and pop shop that's basically collecting dust most of the time. But Gumby has the ability, along with his friends, to enter any book they choose and live out the adventures within the book, much like a holodeck or a VR. If I had to use, contemporary terms, but he wasn't just there to watch; he was generally there to be, a hero. And like any, hero, he made mistakes, got himself into trouble now and then, and maybe his family and friends would have to get him out of it. But for the most part, Gumby was, the archetype of just a good guy who had an amazing life. And I've always really, I don't know if I want to say envious, but I mean, it's up there. If I could, choose any life ever to have, Gumby's up there. It might be top 5. Because who wouldn't want to spend their life in a giant toy store traveling into books? Doesn't that sound like fun? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be playing Gumby versus the Astrobots for the Game Boy Advance. This is the only game, as far as I know, that Gumby's ever been in. And it's very strange that it even got made, because it was like 25 years after the last thing that Art Clokey ever made, which was the Gumby movie. I believe, Mr. Clokey has passed away, and his son has since taken over at least, distribution and rights of Gumby. I don't think he's creating it anymore, but it's a really magical world. And I thought, what better way for us to kick off the Christmas season than to go exploring this toy store and maybe even dropping into a book or two. Does that sound like fun? Of course, we have more than just that on tap. We got the booty segment. Again, traipsing into the unknown. Today you're going to see something on the Galleon you've never seen here in all of our travels. And even beyond, something you may have never even known existed. So we'll be showing you that. And of course, over here in the darkness, just no. All right. Over here in the darkness is the bag that tells no tales, where you, my friends, get to take a hold of the helm for just a moment and say, Captain Raz, I just need to know, and I know you're the guy to ask. So we'll get to that in the next hour. I think we're ready to go. I kind of forgot when we started, but I think we're on time for the most part. I'm ready to play. Basically, we're going to be hunting ice cream and avoiding the Astrobots in Gumby versus the Astrobots for the Game Boy Advance. All right? Take off your grown-up hats, everybody, and put on your imagination caps. Let's have some good, clean fun, shall we? All right. So prepare to get seasick here right off the bat, because Gumby's on this elevator, and we're here in the toy shop, and I have him on the elevator just so you can get an idea of the kind of stuff that Gumby gets into in this, minute little Game Boy Advance game. What do we have here? We've got a book called Transylvania Tales, The Magic Castle. And then down here at the bottom, the Wild West. But I think it wouldn't be the most appropriate book for us to enter during this festive season would obviously be Tales of the North Pole. Now, I did play a little bit of this. I poked around in the Wild West, which was a great time. I'm a big fan of Westerns, especially these days. But I have not entered the Tales of the North Pole. Are we going to meet Santa? Are we going to meet Rudolph? Are we going to beat Frosty, or are we just going to be ambushed by Astrobots? By the way, Astrobots are generally friendly, but for some reason, well, we know the reason. There are these two guys called the Blockheads. They've taken a remote control that apparently controls every Astrobot ever, and now the Astrobots have been assaulting Gumbasia. So right now, Gumby's trying to get down to the bottom of it by exploring these books, trying to find the Blockheads. And they may very well be here in the Tales of the North Pole. Let's go in. Oh, get back in there. He slipped. He slipped out. There you go. All right, here we are. Hey, look, down here's Pokey. This place sure is cold. I can't feel my toes. I'm for freezing, Gumby. You're on your own. Oh, all right. Thanks. You know, that's Gumby for, or that's Pokey for you. He's basically Gumby's sidekick, and while he's got a heart of gold, he's not very courageous. Now, what's up with this? I can't even get through. Oh, look at the pretty. He's smiling at me. He wants to give me a lollipop. Now, lollipops in this game will give Gumby a new way to change into something. And right now, we can only change into one thing. Eat your heart out, Samus Aran. I'm a clay ball. And what happens if we get this lollipop? When Gumby's a ball, press L or R to perform a ball charge. Oh, Lord. Oh, cool. Look at that. Oh, all right. Really borrowing from a lot of tried and true games of old here. Ah! Oh! Now that's what I get for not listening. Look at this. That's fun. This really reminds me of Sonic here. No weapons. Just Gumby's ability to. I like how there's signs for if the jump down is dangerous or if it's okay. I kind of wanna. You think I can make that jump? It's greedy, but we're trying to get every ice cream cone. Got him. All right. Woo! Ah! Still trying to get the controls down here with that ball. There we go. But you know, the whole game just oozes charm. What do we got? I don't know what the symbol is for lives there. We've got 4 lives. Is that, I don't know, is that caramel or something? But I can tell you what the health bar is, which is that little circle. We've got 2 quarters left on our health bar. It's a blueberry pie. Ah, I did it again! Jeez. Anybody got any pie? Here you go. Here's some pie. Whew. Whoa, no! Stalactites! Oh, my gosh. Gumby, we gotta be careful, bro. There we go. Oh, gosh. Oh! I'm dead. Oh, no, I'm not dead yet. No, 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 no! Let's bowl him over. I tried to bowl him over. I guess not. Oh, God, this is dangerous. So clearly, you know, it's not that it's a hard platformer. It's made by Namco. So, you know, you know it's coming from a solid company. It's... Whoa, did he regen? Oh, come on. So it's coming from a solid company, but, you know, it's not easy. It's not as easy as one would think. And I know there's stuff over there on the left, but I've only got 1 hit point here. I'd rather not backtrack. So I'm going to play it safe and just take the easy route here and hope that they're forgiving and give me some sort of I just want some pie. Can I get a little pie? It's every fat man's dream is this game. You're collecting ice cream. You're rewarded for collecting ice cream. You're living on a healthy diet of blueberry pie. very nice use of the signs here. It's good. It's good that they're telling you the ways you can go, or you should go, but they're not necessarily forcing your hand. So that encourages exploration, and that's really what we're all about, isn't it? Now, what are these little birds? Are those birds? I think those are seagull. Hey, it's our buddies from the beginning of the show. How about that? Oh gosh, it's about time they got some screen time, huh? Oh, we got a snowman. I don't have any faith in this roll move. I feel like it's I'm gonna roll myself. Oh jeez. Into like I don't know, some spikes or something. Oh. I hope I find Prickle soon. I don't think small dragons like the cold. Okay, so Prickle is his friend, who is a dragon, also made of clay. Oh, we got another lollipop here. That means we got another move. How are we doing on time? We got another minute or two before we gotta move along. So let's play a little more. I want to see what this... Oh, Gummy can now double jump. Oh, that's great. And he can float. Whoa, look at that! Look at that! Oh, that's so cool! Oh, that's fun. Wow. I love it. I love it. That's the kind of stuff that makes you want to keep playing, is finding all these neat little moves. The tutorials are brief. They're not, this is dangerous. I don't like this blind jump. No, I'm not. Oh, wait. Yeah, look at that, guys. Oh, no, and that's what I get. Oh, I got full health back? Oh, thank gosh. All right, so we're in good shape. Ooh, look, there's a fossil. Check it out. Oh! Anybody got a pickaxe? We can bust that out of there, get ourselves a rare Pokemon. Oh, he's dangerous. Screw it. Oh! Oh. Oh my gosh. Ah! No! See how fast it does? Oh, wow, that's a big ice cream cone. Love that sound effect. That was always Gumby's signature morph sound was. Playing it dangerous. Playing it dangerous, but it paid off. Going down. Can I get some pie? Yeah, there's some pie. Pie and ice cream. Oh, man. Happy holidays, everybody. There we go. Yummy. Super yummy. Oh, all right. Here's a checkpoint. Well, that's a good place to stop then. Let's stay right there. All right. Where's my my little thingy? Give me my heart, please. Let's come back from this frozen tundra of the North Pole. I haven't seen any signs of Santa, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe he'll show up later. I guess we'll see. All right. Whew. It's getting a little hot here. All right. Where are we at? Okay, here we go. Who's ready for a little booty, huh? Who's ready for a little booty? Well, I got a pretty big booty, so it may be not as small as you'd like, but you're gonna have to deal with it. I'm the only one here this hour. This is I don't know. This is just lucky. Is it lucky? Not exactly. This is basically one that Biz discovered. We had a guy. He had a guy come into his pawn shop with a system we've never seen before here on the show. He got a hold of me, And I said, for the right price, absolutely, let's go for it. Let's take a look at what he got. It's a Snap-on toolbox. We got wrenches in here. We got butterfly knives. Is that a tool? I couldn't even think of 2 tools. I got 1. All right, there's obviously something in here. Can you hear that? What sits within, huh? All right, let me show you. It's another way in the bottom of this sweetheart is the mighty Sega Saturn. Look at that. Look at that, huh? When's the last time you saw one of these sweethearts? God. She's got a little love. She had a sticker here at some point. See that sticker? Who knows what that sticker was? But there she is, huh? Now, I believe there were 2 models of the Sega Saturn, and I'm pretty sure this is the first model. Don't quote me on that. I didn't really do my homework on it. We do have a couple of these sitting in the hold, and while they do start up, and we actually have a decent Sega Saturn library that we've been able to acquire here and there throughout the years, but never really to the point where it was enough to show on the show. We never got a system during the show. It's just stuff that we had way before we ever put a webcam in the captain's quarters here. Until now. So there she is. This guy was out around the same time as the PlayStation 1. This was PlayStation 1's technically main competitor, although really the PlayStation just blew it out of the water. Mainly because the PlayStation could handle 3D graphics way better than this little sweetheart. This baby excelled more in 2D gaming, 2D fighting gaming, 2D shooters, and at the time that just wasn't where the industry was. Everyone was about 3D. Oh, I guess PlayStation's main competitor would maybe be N64. Even that, I don't know. But when N64 and PlayStation were around, this guy was kicking as well. Now, due to things like bad marketing and just PlayStation being a Goliath, this guy just didn't survive long. Had a much better life in Japan, and has a much larger library of games in Japan. So there's actually a real import community for this guy. Let's open her up. You know, case opens on its own. Very, very akin to the original PlayStation. It's just a lot bigger, isn't it? It's pretty big. It's pretty beefy. You got a power button here. You got a reset button, and then you got the disc eject. Put your game in. Ow. One of the weird things about the Sega Saturn was on the back, and this was for the Dreamcast as well. On the back was this little compartment, and you could put a battery, a watch battery in there. You see that watch battery? That's for internal memory. So unlike the PlayStation, this guy didn't need a memory card to save your data, but of course it did need it to save your data, and also it ran an internal clock. So as a result, those batteries are usually gone by now because it's been running an internal clock for 15 years. There's also a very puzzling slot here. What's with the cartridge slot in a CD-based system? Well, that you could actually put some additional RAM, basically a memory card, a big fat memory card, almost as big as an N64 memory card, up in there. We've got one of those too. This one didn't come with it, but it's a very competent system, and I was so worried because I've had problems with our other 2 systems. They play games, but they reset quite often. I'm not sure why this happens with Sega CD-based systems, but I've had this problem. It's a common problem with the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn. You'll get through a level, it'll try to load the next level or maybe a cutscene. All of a sudden, boom, it's reset. It's all the way back to the boot up screen. I wanted to make sure this wasn't the case with this guy. So I actually put her through the paces, played a couple hours with a couple games in the library, and she was good. She kept loading. So I would say this is probably the best system Saturn we have on the ship right now, which is badass. You know, it's not beat up. There's no scratches on this. And when we asked where this guy got it from, he's like, "Oh, it's been sitting in my barn about 15 years." How is it like this in 15 years? With the exception of that sticker, how's it looking like that after 15 years in a barn? Doesn't that make you wonder? Let's see what else is in the bag. We got all the boring stuff here. Controllers. We have two very nice controllers. I used them. Work just fine. These are the Model 1 controllers. The Model 2 Saturn controllers, many people considered the best controllers of all time. These are not shabby either. You got a couple of shoulder buttons there, plus 6 buttons, much like the Sega Genesis controller, which means, you know, like I said earlier, this game really excelled when it came to 2D fighting games, and that controller is a big part of it. That's how you want your buttons to be for a 2D fighting game. So these are nice shape, no fraying on the cords. Again, you can tell these have been sitting somewhere for over a decade and a half, untouched. It did come with a connector cord. I think I may still have that hooked up back at our testing station. It was an RF cord, so basically the kind of cord you get for a Nintendo Entertainment System. You know, just the one that would plug into a coaxial line. There, you can get AV cables too, which I had those, so I used that. But this one didn't come with AV cables, unfortunately. It came with an RF adapter. Still workable, just a bit of a downgrade when you're talking resolution. And then the real kicker, she even came with some games. Just a few. And nothing crazy. But one here that's like, you know, if you were going to have one game for a system, this is the one you're going to want. We have Independence Day. And what appears to be, if I were to guess, a Blockbuster. Actually, it totally says. It says on the back there, Blockbuster Video. Case there, label. This guy got it used for $10. 10-day warranty. This is, from what I understand, a terrible game. I think it's a really bad arcadey flight simulator. Like, really bad? Who made it? Fox Interactive. Like, the PS1 version is like one of the worst games on the system, from what I understand. Here's a puzzling one. We've got Dragonheart. Fire and Steel. That was a movie. I think Dennis Quaid was in it. And you got the disc in here, and then what appears to just be, I don't know, the remnants of the manual. So this is going to be, you know, we're not going to be transferring this into a jewel case or anything like that. And then finally, with the manual, luckily, it's been folded after 15 years. We have Die Hard Trilogy. Die Hard Trilogy. And as I said earlier, if you could only have one game packed in with this system, this is a really good one to get, because Die Hard Trilogy prided itself in being 3 games in one. It celebrated all 3 of the movies, Die Hard with Bruce Willis. The first part of this game, Die Hard, is basically a third-person shooter. The second, and like a brawler. The second, Die Hard 2, takes place in the airport that the movie takes place in, but it's a light gun game. And as long as you have the Saturn light gun and a tube TV, you're good to go. We do have a Saturn light gun. And then the third part, Die Hard with a Vengeance, the third movie, in this is a racing game. You're racing around the city trying to defuse bombs. So right on this one little disc here, this is really the only game we have to write home about. We've got a decent third-person shooter, light gun game, and a racing game. How about that, huh? Pretty good. But Raz. What did you pay? Well, you know, this is a hardware system. We don't know where it's coming from. I shot low because the Saturn is finicky. Even though they tested it at the shop there and said it worked, I shot low. Basically because if this guy wanted more money, he probably wouldn't be going into a pawn shop. He'd probably be going into one of the specialty stores here in the city. But I basically said I'll do 20 on it. And Biz was able to work his magic, and we got her for $20. Not bad at all to get a Saturn and everything you need to play, including some games. Maybe not the best, but at least enough to fill an afternoon with a friend because you've got a second controller. So I get this thing from, I make the arrangements over the phone with Bismuth. I show up the next day, or I show up later on the line. I say, okay, I call him, I say, Biz, I'm going to be in today to get that Saturn. He's like, okay. I show up and he's at lunch. And one of his coworkers is like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's the Saturn. And they bring it in this tool box. And that's when my brow was furrowed. Because I've seen, he sent me a picture of this thing. And it wasn't in a toolbox. So I talked to Bismuth over the phone. And I said, what happened to the box? And he's like, oh, well, it was pretty beat up, so I threw it out. And I'm like, oh no, you got to get that out of there. Wherever it is, you got to get it. And he's like, well, I don't know if it's gone or not. I'm like, it was pretty beat up. I'm like, you don't understand how important this is. How crazy this is that it came in this. You need to find it. And he's like, all right. Well, they did a little digging, and they found it. This, my friends, is the reason this Sega Saturn is in such good condition after 20 years. Check it out. The Saturn came in this. Look at that. An extremely beat up Sega Saturn rental case by none other than Blockbuster Video. We know it's Blockbuster because there's a little sticker here that says Blockbuster. And in the back in the day, this was how you would try out a system. Now, I never had the money to be the guy who would show up at a Blockbuster, buy a system, and bring it home for the weekend. That was like it was like a $50, $60 venture, especially if you wanted to get some games with it. This is for the rich kids who wanted to have a serious sleepover. Or maybe a few kids wanted to put in some money. But it's got these really dirty latches here. Open that sucker up. You ready for this? Get ready to have your face melted like you're looking at the Ark of the Covenant, okay? Oh. Oh my God, what happened? Ugh, what a nightmare. Well, now you can see where our friend Bismuth was not so keen on holding on to this guy. But I said, this is history. You don't understand how important it is to what we're doing on the Galleon to show this. This comes from a forgotten time, a forgotten past. A time when you could walk into a store, say, hey, can I borrow your system for a couple days? I'll bring it back. I think he told me that, I don't know, he seemed to think that you could see PlayStation under here. So maybe this is originally PlayStation 1 case. I'm not seeing that, though. I don't know where he saw that. But, yeah, the inside of this is utterly gross, utterly deteriorated. I mean, I think even if you just touched it, this is probably just going to crumble apart. So clearly this isn't the best place to hold the Saturn anymore. You could easily rip all that out of there and reshape it and make refurb it. I don't think that's really what we're gonna do here. I don't know what we're gonna do with it. I'll probably just clean it out and maybe use it as storage for something a little more durable. I don't know what. Maybe controllers. That'd be good. I could see holding our Sega Saturn controllers in here. I don't really want to put a system in here with a laser, with a lens or anything, but controllers I could see. So yeah, I think this is really the topper. This was really the wow factor. This was the one where it was like, we have to get it. And $20 for, a Saturn alone without anything is a pretty good deal. Especially one that's working well. But this is just cherry on the cake. And I'm actually looking forward to playing some Die Hard arcade. Die Hard Trilogy. So there you go. The old Sega Saturn. How about that, huh? Alright. Let's get back to Gumby. I can hear him bopping around over here. Being patient. Let's get back to hunting ice cream cake. Ice cream cake. Let's get back to hunting ice cream and blueberry pies. And tracking down our buddy Prickle. Hopefully we can find him before it's time to say goodbye. Let's get started. Alright, Gumby, nice to see you, my friend. What have I missed? Oh, you're still a ball. Okay. Oh, I love that double jump. That's so clever. Oh. Watch it. Watch it, sir. Looking for Prickle. Oh, Prickle! Let me tell you a story about Gumby and why I find it to be such a great series. Oh, why it's special to me. Back in the early '90s, I was just out of high school, and I was working as an usher at a movie theater, and then also a busboy at a Chinese restaurant, living with the parents. In that transitional time between high school and college. Didn't really know what to do with my life yet. Still trying to figure that out. But anyway, see, I should have charged him. Whoa, man. Look at that. It's neat, but it's very unwieldy. I feel like I'm gonna blow it. That move takes some really getting used to. So since I worked as an usher or a busboy at a Chinese restaurant and a movie theater, these are both service-based jobs. So obviously these are places that would close 10 a.m., 10 p.m., midnight, and then I would get home to a dead world. And obviously I had some friends, but for most of the time, by that time it was time no one was around. So I would spend a lot of nights listening to the radio. And at the time, this was before Sirius radio, it was all terrestrial radio. There was this one talk show, there was a late night talk show called the Wendy and Bill Show. And it was on from I think 11 p.m. to 4 in the morning. And I had become a really devoted fan. I'd listen to music. Play video games throughout the night and listen to this show. And, it was a late night show, so, you'd have things like, typical adult humor at the time, like vulgar stuff, but, some thoughtful things too. And I remember one night, and they'd always have guests, usually phone-in guests. Here's another checkpoint. And one night they had Art Clokey on via microphone. Now Art Clokey, if you don't know him a lot about his background, he was a devout Lutheran. He was very, very religious man. This was his wife. So much so that before Gumby, which is basically a pretty non-denominational show for everyone, he made a show called Davy and Goliath, which is about this Lutheran kid and his dog. And the voice of reason in every episode was the pastor. The show itself was sponsored by the the Lutherans of America or something like that, some sort of Lutheran organization. It would say that to you at the start of every. I wonder if I can double jump for that. Let's try. I like how he squeezes down when he's got to go. He squishes down when he goes too far. I can't get up there. Anyway, they have Art Clokey on, and he's promoting his movie, Gumby, the movie. Now, Art Clokey's on the West Coast. By this time, he's probably in his 60s, happily married, living a very religious, devout lifestyle. And he's been, doing Gumby for decades. And he makes this but this is the first time they had a feature-length movie about Gumby. Oh, now I should have rammed him. That was dumb. Should have rammed him. So they're doing the interview, and again, this is 11:30 at night. Now, maybe that's not the case on the West Coast. Maybe Mr. Clokey didn't realize the kind of show he was on. But the female, she was a decent interview. Wendy is conducting the interview and says, I haven't seen the movie yet, but it's getting some great reviews here in the city of Chicago. I was living in the south suburbs of Chicago at the time. And I don't know. I died. I don't know where to go there. Shoot. God, how far off are we? I really have no idea. So the subject comes up when I think the subject comes up where the movie, this children's movie, is playing, and it turns out it's only playing in one theater in the entire Chicagoland area called the Vic. And if you know anything about the Vic or Chicago, nightlife, you'll know that the Vic was otherwise the slang term for the Vic is the Bruin View. This is the kind of theater that will play, have like Evil Dead marathons, and the theater itself is wall-to-wall table, bar tables and chairs, so that you can get blasted while you're watching the movies. So Art Clokey hears this and he's like, "Wait a minute, you're playing my movie in a Bruin View? This is an innocent story. Oh my God, what is going on here? I can't go up. Oh, I can go up. Oh, Raz. Oh, you're an idiot." So it's this ridiculously awkward. Uh-oh. Whoa, we got a boss. It's the Abominable Snowman. That's Prickle. Save me, Gumby. What's going on here? This smelly creature doesn't look happy. Wow. That's the most polite insult I've ever heard. Arrgh. Yeah, it's the Abominable. We've been through that, Prickle. He won't leave me. He won't let me leave. Why? He wants me to keep him... Okay. Art Clokey, do you understand why they're playing your stuff in an art theater in Chicagoland? It's lines like this. And that's exactly how Gumby the movie is. So I'm going to take this moment to say, if you ever see Gumby the movie on DVD, please grab it along with a six-pack and a friend. It'll blow your mind that this was made for children. Made for children in the late 90s, mind you. I'm very sorry, Mr. Snowman, but I'm here to take Prickle home. All right. Come back, dragon. I wish I had full health. I wish I didn't screw this up. What? Ooh. Oh, that's awesome! But now I gotta get back over there. Come on, Snowman. You can't do this, Snowman. It's Christmas, bro. Yeah, one more. Play it smart. Oh, I didn't play it smart. Oh, that was lucky. Crazy. Crazy. Thank God I'm playing a kid's game. I would have never got away with it. All right, one more. Here we go. This is for all the marbles. Let's do it for Christmas, everybody. Let's do it for Art Clokey. Huzzah! Oh, God. Come back, Dragon. Oh, always cold. That's rough, man. Always cold. That's dark. Think about that again. The imagery. Did Clokey have any idea? Did he have any idea what he was saying? Wow. I got one DVD here. I know I have Gumby the movie. It even I think I found it at Five Below, and it even came with a little Gumby figurine. I come across these now and then. I've seen Gumby, and this is no secret. If you think I'm crazy, look online. There are like full-on like 14-inch size stuffed versions of Gumby with a Bob Marley knit cap on and like dreadlocks. So you know there's a small cult adult following for Gumby, and if you ever actually watch it as an adult, you're gonna understand why. This is cute. This is just a couple of the old shows back from the 50s and 60s. But I urge you to watch Gumby the movie, the one that was made in the 90s. It's a kick. All right, let's head over to the mailbag here. Gumby, thanks for the adventure, guys, through the North Pole. I had a great time with that. All right, what do we got here? What do you guys got to say, huh? You guys got something important to say? Last week I came across an old letter. So I got halfway through it, realized we'd used it like over a year ago. I don't know if some of these got thrown in there when I was getting ready for my trip to Williamsburg, and maybe I just took a pile of the old ones and threw it in. I don't know. So hopefully this is a new letter. I'll know. So if it's not new, I'll make that note. This is from Melissa Girl. We've done this one. She wants to know what I think of Halo. It's okay. I know we've done that one. What is happening? How did this ever happen? Then Whitey Sneaky says, "Are you a real pirate?" We've done that one. This is embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I even put some new letters in there. Hey, this is your opportunity. Send questions now. All right, here we go. This is a new one. I know this. This is from Aiden. And Aiden asks, "Is E Honda your main in Street Fighter 2?" For those of you who don't have fighting game terms, your main is your favorite character that you play the most, you think you're the best at in a fighting game. E Honda in Street Fighter 2, is he my main? I like to think so. If only because he's the fat guy. I think that was really what set Street Fighter 2 apart. Not only was it just a technological marvel, it had something for everybody. It wasn't just, two muscle-bound doofs in Contra, or like, three really fit people in, say Final Fight. There was a fat guy, there was a really thin guy, there was a chick, there was, people from every race, every corner of the world, all coming together into one machine. And I think that's really what revolutionized, what really, brought that renaissance, that rebirth to the arcade scene, was this one game we could all get together and play. And it was anyone's game. And I still believe that. Some people say, Ken and Ryu and Guile, there's a tier system. I hate the tier system. I don't believe in it. I think if you're good enough and dedicated enough, you can win with anybody. And I think at the time I played Blanca, I started with Blanca, but these days, my go-to guys, my favorite people to play are Dalsum and E Honda. because they're fascinating, they're interesting, they're unique. So, yeah, I'd like to say Honda, but it could go Dalsum, could go Zangief. Nah, probably not Zangief. Close, but it'd either be Dalsum or Honda. I'd like to go with Honda. So there you go. Thank you for the question, Aiden. If you guys got a question, you know where to put it. For God's sake, send it to me, because look at what I'm doing over here. How long is this going to go on? And it's not like I can go through the bag and look for all the new ones and all the old ones, because then I'll know what's in there. What's the fun in that, right? All right, I think we're done. I think we're gonna wrap her up for here today outside the Gumbasia toy store. We had a great time exploring the North Pole with Gumby, and we had a great time looking through the booty and hanging out and having some good, wholesome, down-home pirate fun. But sadly, it's time to say goodbye. But don't worry. Don't worry, my little robot friend. We're going to work on our electrician skills. We're going to try and get these lights up. Christmas is fast approaching. You know what that means. We got a Christmas party to prepare for. We've got gifts to wrap and gifts to find for all the other people that we love in our lives. And hey, if anything, we'll probably get to have some food at work that someone else brought in. How about that, huh? That's what Christmas is all about. All right. We'll see you soon. Take care. I can't wait till next week. And until next week, farewell and adieu to ye Spanish maidens. Farewell and adieu, ye ladies of Spain. For we received orders for to hang out with Gumby. And we may never see ye fair ladies again. Brought to you by the United Lutherans of America. Keep your powder dry, matey.